You can feel it, can't you? She's there, but her love isn't. The texts are colder. The kisses are fewer. The silence is louder than ever. And deep down, you already know, she doesn't love you anymore. This isn't about blaming her. It's not about getting her back. It's about what you do now, when her heart is gone, and yours is breaking. In this video, we're going to talk about the signs, the pain, the healing. And most of all, how to rise stronger using timeless Stoic wisdom. Because the love may be over, but you are just getting started. Part 1. Signs she doesn't love you anymore, explained clearly. So, how do you actually know when she's fallen out of love? It's a tough question. Because here's the truth. Most women won't come out and say, "I don't love you anymore." Not because they want to play games, but because even they sometimes don't fully understand what they're feeling. But if you pay attention, not to her words, but to her behavior, you'll see the signs. They're always there. Quiet, but powerful. Let's break them down, one by one. 1. She becomes emotionally distant. In the beginning, she used to open up to you. She shared her thoughts, her feelings, even the little things about her day. Now, she barely talks, or when she does, it feels cold. Robotic. The connection isn't there anymore. She doesn't laugh at your jokes like she used to. You start to feel like a stranger in your own relationship. That's emotional withdrawal, and it's usually the first sign something has shifted in her heart. 2. There's a lack of physical intimacy. When a woman is in love, physical touch is natural, holding hands, hugging you from behind, laying close. But now, the hugs are half-hearted. She flinches when you reach out. Kisses become rare, or routine. Sex feels more like an obligation than desire. And you can feel it. That warmth, that closeness, it's gone. 3. She gets easily annoyed or irritated. Things she once found charming or funny about you, now they just seem to get on her nerves. She's short with you. Sarcastic. Critical. You say something simple, and she rolls her eyes or snaps back. You might find yourself constantly walking on eggshells, trying not to upset her. That constant tension is a red flag, because when love fades, frustration often takes its place. 4. She doesn't seem interested in your life anymore. She used to ask how your day went. She cared about your struggles, your wins, your dreams. But now, it's like she doesn't even hear you. You tell her something important, and she barely responds. You're talking, but you feel invisible. That emotional investment she once had in your life? It's gone. And when someone stops being curious about your world, it often means they've emotionally checked out. 5. She stops arguing or fighting for the relationship. Now this might sound strange, but when a woman completely stops arguing, it's not always a good sign. Because silence isn't always peace. Sometimes, it means she's already given up. No more effort, no more fixing things, just silence. No more passion, no more fire, just indifference. And indifference is colder than anger. Because at least when she's angry, she still cares. But when she stops reacting, that's when you know her heart may have already moved on. Real-life example, Marcus' story. Let me tell you a story. Marcus was a good guy. Loyal. Devoted. He really loved his girl. But over time, he started noticing some changes. She wasn't talking much. She always seemed distracted. They'd sit in the same room for hours without really connecting. He told himself it was just stress. Maybe work was getting to her. Maybe she was tired. He didn't want to believe anything was wrong. So, he ignored the signs. He kept giving more. More attention, more time, more love, hoping she would come back emotionally. But the truth? Her heart had already left. She was just physically there, waiting for the right time to walk away completely. Marcus learned the hard way that love doesn't disappear overnight, but the signs start showing long before the goodbye ever comes. Part 2. The Stoic truth: you can't control her heart. Let's get real for a moment. One of the hardest lessons a man can learn in love is this. You can't control how she feels about you. You can't control her heart, her decisions, or the direction her emotions take. And trying to control them? That only pushes her further away. There's a powerful quote from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. He said, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle: some things are within our control, and some things are not." Now think about that for a second. What's in your control? Your thoughts. Your actions. Your choices. What's not? Her feelings. Her reactions. Her love. You can be the most loving man, send all the sweet messages, buy the gifts, make the sacrifices. But if her heart is no longer in it, none of that will bring her back. And here's the mistake many men make. They cling. They try harder. They beg, plead, and hope their effort will earn back her love. But the truth is, the more you chase, the more she runs. The more you cling, the more she pulls away. Because real love doesn't respond to pressure, it responds to presence. And here's something every man must understand deep down. If you have to convince someone to love you, then the love you're fighting for is already gone. A Stoic man doesn't beg to be chosen. He stands tall. He accepts what he can't control, and he focuses on what he can: his own healing, his own strength, his own future. Let that sink in. You can't force her to feel what she doesn't. But you can choose how you respond to that truth, with desperation, or with dignity. Part 3. Acceptance is power, explained clearly. Let's talk about something that most men struggle with after a breakup. Acceptance. Now, listen closely, pain is natural. When someone you love pulls away, when her warmth turns cold, when she stops choosing you, it hurts. And that pain? You're supposed to feel it. That's what makes you human. But suffering is different. Suffering happens when you refuse to accept reality. When you keep holding on, even though she's already let go. It sounds like this. She probably just needs space. Maybe she's going through something. It's not really about me. She'll come back. I just need to wait. That's not clarity. That's not hope. That's denial dressed up as faith. A Stoic man doesn't escape into illusions. He sees things as they are, not how he wishes they were. Because here's the truth. Hope, without honesty, becomes a prison. You start waiting for a message that never comes. You hold on to memories instead of facing what's right in front of you. And the longer you stay in that place, the harder it gets to heal. So let me tell you straight. If her actions are showing distance, indifference, or emotional disconnection, you have to consider the hard truth: this chapter might be closing. And while that truth may hurt at first, accepting it is what sets you free. Because you can't begin the next chapter of your life if you keep rereading the last one. Part 4. Emotional mastery in the storm. Let's be real, when she pulls away, it feels like your world is falling apart. You might feel angry. You might feel sad. You might feel confused, lost, or even numb. All of these emotions are normal. You're human. You cared deeply for someone, and now, that bond is slipping away. But here's the truth. Just because you feel these emotions doesn't mean they have to control you. This is what the Stoics teach us: you are not your emotions. You feel them, yes. But you don't have to act on them. You don't have to let them define who you are or how you respond. Now here's a simple but powerful Stoic exercise that helps with this. Every night, before you sleep, take a quiet moment. Close your eyes. And imagine losing the things and people you care about most. Your relationship. Your job. Your possessions. Even your own health. At first, that sounds dark. Even depressing. But it's not about becoming negative. It's about preparing your heart and mind for life's realities, because loss is part of life. It's not if things will change, but when. The Stoics called this premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of loss. They practiced it not to live in fear, but to build inner strength. So when heartbreak comes, when life doesn't go your way, you're not shattered. You're ready. Not emotionally numb, but emotionally grounded. Because a man who's trained his mind to face loss is a man who can survive it and grow from it. That's emotional mastery. Not suppressing your feelings, but not letting them steer the wheel either. You remain calm in the storm, not because you don't feel the rain, but because you've built shelter within. Part 5. Self-reflection, your role in what happened. This is where true healing begins, not with blaming her, not with replaying every argument in your head, but by looking honestly in the mirror. Take a deep breath, and ask yourself, did I make myself too available, to the point where she didn't have to wonder about me anymore? Did I stop leading, stop taking initiative in the relationship, stop being the man I was when we first met? Did I center my entire emotional world around her, so much that I forgot who I was outside of the relationship? These are hard questions, but they're necessary. Here's a truth most men don't want to face. Women don't usually fall out of love overnight. It happens slowly, silently, while you're busy trying to keep the peace, or doing everything to please her, or avoiding confrontation just to make it work. Many men think they weren't good enough. But that's not always the reason she pulled away. Sometimes, it's because the man she fell in love with, the confident, purpose-driven, grounded man, disappeared along the way. Let me tell you about James. James was once unstoppable. He had ambition. A spark in his eyes. He led his life with purpose. Then he fell in love. At first, it was amazing. He gave her attention, care, affection, everything a good man should. But over time, he stopped doing the things that made him feel alive. He stopped going to the gym. Stopped chasing his dreams. Stopped spending time with his friends. All his energy went into making her happy. And little by little, he faded. He became predictable. Passive. A version of himself even he didn't recognize. She didn't leave because of one fight, or one mistake. She left because the man she admired became the man who depended on her for his identity. And that love? It didn't crash, it faded, quietly. This part is painful. But it's also the doorway to your transformation. Because once you understand your role, you also understand your power to rebuild. You can't change the past. But you can choose who you become next. Part 6. Rebuilding self-respect and your masculine frame. Let's talk about something many men forget in the middle of love and heartbreak: self-respect. You see, whether you realize it or not, you're constantly teaching people how to treat you, by what you tolerate, by how you show up, and by what you're willing to accept just to keep the peace. So ask yourself honestly. Have you been apologizing even when you did nothing wrong, just to avoid an argument? Have you been begging for her time, her attention, her affection, like your worth depends on it? Have you been waiting on her texts, her moods, her approval, like your entire day revolves around how she feels? If any of this sounds like you, then something's gone off track. And here's the truth. It's time to shift. You can't keep living like your value is tied to how she treats you. You can't keep chasing love like it's the air you breathe. You have to reclaim your masculine frame. That means standing tall again, not with arrogance, but with grounded confidence. It means remembering that you were never meant to orbit someone else's world like a lost satellite. You were meant to build your own. Start with your mission, what drives you, what excites you, what gives your life meaning outside of any relationship. When you focus on that, your goals, your health, your mindset, everything starts to change. You stop seeking permission to matter. You become the kind of man who naturally commands respect, not by force, but by presence. And maybe, just maybe, when you stop living for her approval, you'll finally start living for yourself. Part 7. What Stoicism teaches about letting go. Let's talk about one of the hardest things a man can do, letting go of someone he still loves. Now, the Stoics had a powerful way of looking at this. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Receive without pride, let go without attachment." What does that really mean? It means when something good comes into your life, like love, you don't need to brag or cling to it. You simply appreciate it for what it is. And when it goes, as painful as it is, you let it go, without breaking apart. It's not about becoming cold or heartless. It's about being emotionally disciplined. Listen. That love you gave? It wasn't a mistake. You opened your heart. You cared. You showed up. That wasn't weakness. That was humanity. That was courage. And the pain you're feeling now? It may feel unbearable, but it's not here to destroy you. It's here to teach you. It's showing you what mattered. It's showing you how deeply you can feel. It's revealing the places where you still need to grow. But here's the hard truth. You're not letting go because you've stopped caring. You're letting go because you care about yourself enough to stop waiting for someone who's already emotionally gone. You're not doing this out of anger or bitterness. You're doing it out of self-respect. Because a Stoic man knows. Staying where love has died will only suffocate what's still alive in you. Letting go is not weakness. It's strength. It's the kind of strength that says, I gave my best, but I refuse to lose myself trying to hold on to someone who no longer sees my worth. And that, my friend, is real emotional power. Part 8. The path forward, healing and growth. Now that you've accepted the truth, now that you've faced the pain, this is where the real work begins. This is the part where you start putting yourself back together, not the way you were before, but stronger, wiser, more grounded. It starts with building a new routine. Wake up early. Not because it's trendy, but because it teaches you discipline. When you wake up early, you get ahead of your day. You take back control. And control, real control, is what your mind needs right now. Next, start journaling. No one has to see it. It's not about writing perfect sentences, it's about getting the chaos in your head out onto paper. What are you feeling? What are you learning? What are you afraid of? Write it all down. This becomes your mirror, your therapist, your coach. Move your body. Hit the gym. You're not just building muscles, you're rebuilding your confidence. With every rep, every drop of sweat, you're proving to yourself, I still matter. I still have fight in me. Then, pursue mastery. What have you always wanted to learn? A skill, a craft, a passion? Now is the time. Dive into something that stretches you, sharpens your focus, and gives you purpose beyond relationships. Because a man with purpose becomes magnetic, not just to women, but to life itself. And most importantly, rediscover what makes you, you. You're not just someone's boyfriend. You're not defined by who left. Go back to the things that used to light you up. Music. Art. Building. Traveling. reading, creating. And hear this clearly. Don't rush into dating just to distract yourself. Don't fill the silence with another woman just because you're uncomfortable being alone. Heal first. Grow first. Become whole again. Because when you finally do date again, you want it to come from a place of strength, not neediness. A place of I choose to love, not I need to be loved. That's the difference between repeating your past and rewriting your future. Part 9. Closing thoughts. She doesn't love you anymore. But one day, you will. Let's be real for a moment. She may not love you anymore. And hearing that, even just admitting it to yourself, can feel like someone tore your heart right out of your chest. But I want you to understand something very important. This is not where your story ends. It's where a more meaningful chapter begins. Because the truth is, when someone pulls away from you, when they stop choosing you, it forces you to start choosing yourself. You see, you can't control how she feels. You can't force love to come back. But there is one thing you always have power over. Your own mind. Marcus Aurelius said it best. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You can't change what she feels. You can't rewrite the past. But you can change what you do next. You can choose to stop chasing, stop begging, stop shrinking. You can choose to heal, grow, and rebuild. To find your worth in who you are, not in who walked away. To stop settling for love that feels like a favor, and start expecting a love that matches your value. It's going to take time. It's going to hurt. But there will come a day, not far from now, when you look in the mirror, and you'll see a stronger man staring back at you. Not because she stayed. But because you decided to stand. She doesn't love you anymore. But one day, you'll love the man you've become because of it. And when that day comes, you'll understand. This heartbreak wasn't your ending. It was your rebirth.